WWE wrestlers who ruined themselves with a new look. Number 10, Sheamus.
See, look.
Now, upon returning to WWE following WrestleMania 31, the idea was for Sheamus to re-debut with a brand new look. Sheamus would debut a new mohawk-style haircut, and whilst he looked vastly different, fans weren't exactly receptive to it. The crowd...
I'm sorry, bro. I don't want to pause too much, but why would we ever do this? Sheamus, I'm just curious. Why would we ever do this? I mean, it's straight temple work right here. Like his angle of his head just looks like a butt, like an ass cheek. Like, why would you do this? And putting your beard into braids? Ain't gonna lie, bro. This is crazy.
The crowd would often heckle the former WWE champion with chants of "You look stupid," which definitely impacted a lot of Sheamus's matches early on.
Look like
Sheamus, though, wouldn't let the negativity get to him, and he spoke out about how the fans were jealous of him. Sheamus, in time, would revert back to his prior look, and whilst the mohawk look was one of the worst looks of his career, his body of work at the time was still incredibly high. Number 9, Dolph Ziggler. One of the things that made Dolph Ziggler stand out was his long blonde hair. Without this look, Ziggler would just look like another generic wrestler. Unfortunately, WWE attempted to ruin Ziggler's presentation as he randomly showed up to the April 18th, 2011 edition of Raw, sporting a new hairstyle. Ziggler cut his hair short.
Okay, look, no glaze, bro. No glaze. And pause. Love who you love, but pause, bro. Ain't gonna lie, bro. Dolph Ziggler always looking good, bro. Pause. But Dolph Ziggler, bro, he didn't lose aura right here, bro. He just, his head is brown or black, bro. He did not lose aura. What are you talking about?
And dyed it brown. He looked incredibly generic, and it was almost as if all the confidence was drained from him. Luckily, Ziggler was allowed to dye his hair back shortly after, but this was an absolutely terrible idea that should have never been approved. According to Ziggler himself, he was told that the new haircut would make him look more credible. The crazy thing was that Ziggler didn't need a new look, he just needed to win more matches. It was incredibly backwards booking from WWE. Number 8, The Undertaker. It's common knowledge that The Undertaker wasn't exactly in favor of bringing back the dead man persona in 2004. The Undertaker loved the American Badass persona as he believed it gave him so much more range as a performer, and to his credit, he was right. When The Undertaker returned as the Dead Man at WrestleMania 20, the idea was that the Dead Man would be back alongside Paul Bearer, yet The Undertaker would keep a lot of his moves from his American Badass days. This was 100% the right. The Undertaker would keep a lot.
I just never understood, bro. Why Rikishi's ass is like literally so fat, bro. Like, pause, bro, but like,
from his American,
you can't help but notice that shit. Like, why is that in my face on a 2-second clip, bro?
Badass days. Dude, this was 100% Paul Bearer. Yeah, The Undertaker would keep a lot of his moves from his American Badass days. This was 100% the right call. The WWE product had vastly changed since The Undertaker was last an undead zombie, and Taker having slow, lifeless matches would not have been appropriate for the Ruthless Aggression era audience. Interestingly, on the first SmackDown following WrestleMania 20, The Undertaker would appear on SmackDown wearing his trademark bandana from his prior persona. This led to a lot of confusion at the time, as The Undertaker once again just looked like the American Badass, specifically Big Evil. Now, the inclusion of the bandana was a one-time deal, as The Undertaker would ditch it moving forward, which was probably the right move. Number 7, Triple H. In 2025, it's hard to imagine Triple H with any other haircut than being completely bald. However, when the game first cut his hair in late 2012, the look he went for looked terrible. The game had yet to embrace being bald, and he had this short style haircut which didn't suit him whatsoever. Triple H would keep this look for some time, and it just felt weird and off. In relation to why the former WWE champion cut his hair in the first place, this is what he had to say during an interview with the Morning Buzz. I just couldn't wait for the time when I could finally get rid of it. It's the weirdest thing. To me, it wasn't that big of a deal, and I didn't really put that much thought into it. But then I literally did it in the morning, drove to the office, there was a couple of people outside. I took a few pictures as I was walking in and went inside. I got upstairs, it wasn't even 10 minutes later, and someone came up, "Dude, you're all over TMZ that you cut your hair out." The game would firmly embrace the bold look, and it looked fantastic on him. Number 6, Chad Gable.
But before we move on again, bro, Triple H, you can't look like a guy that looks like Triple H and get a buzz cut. We just can't do that, fellas. I'm just trying to. You already know, but I just gotta tell you,
Gable.
Can't do that.
A collective groan heard around the world was when it was
look like Chad, boy. Shout out Caleb Braxton too. We miss you. We miss you.
It's reported that Chad Gable was going to turn into Shorty G was palpable. This now infamous gimmick was forced on Gable's height and nothing else. The gimmick was evidently designed to make Vince
Shorty
McMahon laugh, and it was never going to get Gable over on the main roster. To represent the gimmick change, Gable would debut hideous new ring attire, which made him look ridiculous. And now he looked like a defined comedic character.
Bro, this doesn't even like, hold on. This
ring
doesn't
attire,
even
which
look
made
like
him look ridiculous.
El Grande Americano or what's his name? Oh yeah, Chad Gable. I'm being dumb, but like, I'm over here Pokemon and shit. But bro, come on now. Like, Shorty G is just bad.
And now he looked like a defined comedic character. According to Gable, during an appearance on After the Bell, he saw the gimmick change as an opportunity. When I finished King of the Ring, it was explained to me that this was the direction we were going. I'm not the type of guy that's going to go in, ask for an opportunity, and when given it, complain about it. That's not my philosophy on life. I got my opportunity. Is it the perfect situation? No. I did continue on by saying, in amateur wrestling, me being short was not the thing because I was on a team with 55, 60 kilo guys who were not even 5 foot. I was on the taller end. It was fine, I got the opportunity I asked for, but it started going off the rails when I was doing segments with guys that I'm taller than. I'm gonna try and give it every ounce of energy I have because I'm committed to this.
Look, and that's like, to be on a serious note, like, unfortunately, like, if you're in a company as big as WWE, you just gotta take what you're given. Like, pause. Like, very pause, but you just gotta take what you're given and do what you're asked. I mean, he just, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure he's still getting paid good money at the time, whatever. But who is Chad Gable to go talk to Vince McMahon out of all people and be like, hey, I don't like this? He's going to get booted up. He's going to get packed up. He's going to get released. He's going to be the next AEW. Chad Gable is all in. He's all elite, whatever they say. TNA, whatever else, bro. And obviously, he didn't want to do that. So guess what? He did what he had to do. And guess what? He's still over to this day. Like, I know some people don't like it, but I do enjoy the El Grande Americano and whatever, Alpha Academy, whatever it's called. But his time is coming. I am a Chad Gable enthusiast. We are all waiting for that day where he wins either the IC or the World Heavyweight Championship, because that boy is cold.
The gimmick lasted around a year, and luckily it failed to impact Gable's credibility. Gable, particularly over the past 5 years, has sustained a reputation for making everything work. Whether Gable is a menacing heel or a face wearing the worst attire imaginable, Gable is going to put his life and soul into the respective character.
Which is
Number 5, Kane. The idea of Kane turning into a corporate stooge could have worked. That's if the character wasn't presented within the lore and realm of Kane's established continuity. Unfortunately, the major issue with the corporate Kane persona was the horrendous look that he would debut. Kane would wear suit pants and slacks to wrestle, and Kane just lost all credibility and legitimacy as a performer.
Oh, forget credibility. This nigga lost all aura, bro. This is what I'm trying to tell y'all, bro. Hold on,
this man
bro.
lacks to wrestle, and
bro, come on.
Kane just horrendous look that he would debut. Kane would wear.
Oh my gosh, that's nasty. Oh, that is nasty. Look at the Widow's Peak. They really had that man making the Authority work, though. We all hated the Authority in 2015. I don't care what you say.
Pants and slacks to wrestle, and Kane just lost all credibility and legitimacy as a performer. This man was supposed to be one of the most terrifying pro wrestlers on the entire roster, but he looked like a total joke. The slacks in particular made it extremely difficult for Kane to have good matches, and it was a surprise that he didn't hurt himself wrestling in that style of footwear. The persona and the attire had zero benefit to Kane or his legacy, and in hindsight, it was just a terrible idea from a stagnant WWE creative team. Number 4.
Look, that's what we call, look, I probably can't say this on YouTube, bro, but if you're black, bro, that's 2015 Kane with the Widow's Peak. That's what we call a bad guh. We call them people bad guhs. You a bad guh, cause you like, come on, bro. You see how he look? That's a bad guh. You a bad guh.
There was a lot of concern for Keith Lee's main roster call-up. Vince McMahon was known for messing up several notable NXT call-ups, and with Lee being on the larger side, it was theorized that McMahon would take issue with Lee's weight, despite it not impacting his work in any way, shape, or form. To the surprise of nobody, McMahon changed Lee's gimmick entirely, and he would also insist that Lee wear a generic singlet. Fans instantly called out WWE for this, as Lee looked like a default creator wrestler. What WWE failed to understand was the fact that he wore traditional trunks despite being a larger wrestler was one of the reasons why he stood out in the first place. When Lee was released from WWE, he would poke fun at the singlet, and it once again highlighted just how out of touch McMahon was with modern day wrestling. Number 3, Karrion Kross. Similarly to Keith Lee, Karrion Kross was another name that was massively let down by an appearance change upon debuting on the WWE main roster. Kross would debut new attire, which would feature...
This is not fair to me because I cannot say what I want to say on here, but y'all know what he looks like. He looks like a star. He looks like a corn star. That's what he looks like, bro. Freaky Karrion, bro. Shout out to Freaky Karrion, bro. He was just doing what he was told. Freaky Karrion, you will be remembered forever, bro. But I'm so sorry Vince had you coming out. I'm done speaking on this because this is nasty work.
Borderline comedic helmet during his entrance, and then suspenders for his in-ring attire. Fans loathed this attire choice, as Kross looked like a complete joke, and it was impossible to even take him seriously. Kross quite rightly took issue with the attire, and he would discuss this during an appearance on the Two Man Power Trip podcast. What I was told was this was going to be an upgraded version of what I was previously doing in NXT. Upgraded. A bigger and better version of what I did. And they said they wanted to give me new music and they wanted to switch up my entrance a little bit. And then we got to this mock-up of this outfit and it looked cheap and horrendous. And I said, surely this is just a concept. This is not what they're actually trying to manufacture or engineer, because this is $1 billion company.
That's what
this looks like trash. Surely enough, the day came and we got the costume. And it was like, boy, I don't know about this.
And guess what? He can't say shit because Vinnie Mac was in charge. Vince McMahon, you're sick, bro. You are very sick. It's crazy how an allegation or whatever happened had to go down in order for Vince to be packed up and booted out of here, bro. Because now everything is completely different. All these wrestlers have say, and Triple H is gonna at least help them a little, but he ain't gonna have them going out there looking ridiculous like this. Shout out to Vince, but not shout out to Vince at the same time, because you're just a nasty.
Thankfully, when Triple H would bring Kross back in 2022, this horrific attire would be nowhere to be seen. Number 2, Goldberg. Goldberg mainly went between two attires during his pro wrestling career. When Goldberg was in WCW, he would wear traditional black trunks, and this attire was perfect for his no-nonsense persona. In WWE, he would opt for a slightly longer trunks with a white trim, and whilst fans preferred the black, the attire variation was still solid. Unfortunately, in 2021, Goldberg decided to debut a new look for his Royal Rumble match versus Drew McIntyre, and the attire made fans question what on earth Goldberg was even thinking. Goldberg would debut baggy black shorts, and all the aura had evaporated the moment Goldberg was seen on camera with a new look. They were a terrible fit, and it looked like Goldberg had just woken up to take the dog outside for a walk.
But look. If we really pay attention, man, all these older wrestlers who come back, they always wear like longer shorts or pants than what they wore previously. I remember like Punk in LEW, he wore the long johns, they were calling them. I wouldn't say nasty work. I look, he liked them on Punk, like pause, but like it was something different. Like Punk in pants, like he was hooping. He was hooping. Still even Goldberg in shorts, like bro, I'd rather see Goldberg in shorts than underwear. And we're being honest, like what are we talking about? So if you don't like Goldberg in shorts, you're, I don't know.
Now it was reported that the attire was worn because the Hall of Famer didn't have enough time to prepare for the match. But was this really the best option? It was bold and unimaginative.
He really tried to
and number
dap
one,
up Drew
was this
McIntyre
really
like
the
that.
best option? It was bold and unimaginative. And number 1, Baron Corbin. When Baron Corbin took on the authoritative role in WWE, WWE's bold idea was to have Corbin wrestle in a shirt and suit pants, just like Corporate Kane. Corbin looked ridiculous in this attire, and it made no sense. Just because Corbin had power backstage in kayfabe, why did he need to wrestle in the most uncomfortable attire imaginable? True. It was like WWE needed to remind fans of Corbin's gimmick at all times. Yeah. The shocking thing was, Corbin wore this dreadful attire to retire Kurt Angle at WrestleMania 35, which is a fact that still bewilders fans several years later. But this wasn't the only new look that Corbin would debut that was hated by the audience. The October 17th, 2022 edition of Raw saw Corbin and JBL come to the ring ahead of Corbin's match with Dolph Ziggler. But fans weren't talking about Corbin and JBL's partnership. All they could focus on was the horrendous attire that Corbin was wearing.
Look, this man, Baron Corbin, has been dealt a very bad hand, bro. Like, and I'm so used to seeing him with the Mr. Clean head. Like, I don't even remember him with his hair. I can't tell which one was better, if I'm being honest. Like, he had more potential with the hair, but he could have been something with the bald head too. They just gave this man a very bad hand. And how do you have JBL by your side? You still don't get over. Like, I mean, they tried with him, but they didn't try hard enough because this was just bad, bro.
Corbin was wearing long pants and a vest, but the color scheme was black and cream. This was the worst attire on the roster at the time, and thankfully it was just a one-time deal.
Just bad.
But there you have it, folks. 10 WWE wrestlers who ruined...
Yeah, let me... I see you, Rhea. Hold on. I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to that video. But let me know who y'all think lost the most or whatever, ruined themselves the most with the cut. Ain't gonna lie. Maybe Sheamus, bro. Maybe Sheamus, Triple H. Definitely not Dolph though. Like Paul, but like Dolph, like that ain't really changed much. Let me know what kind of videos y'all want to see. If y'all want to see more reactions, and I'm gonna see y'all boys in the next one, man. Geek out, man. Peace.